Welcome to City Limits, the show that explores the fun, fascinating people and places in cities just like yours. In this episode, we join the celebration for Los Angeles Comic-Con's 10th anniversary, where we get to chat with artists and cosplayers who may or may not be able to help us track down Ella, one of our City Limits crew members whom we suspect is having a grand time without us. Wherever could she be? Time to go into full screen mode because City Limits starts right now. The first stop in our search for Ella is with a couple of well-known Disney characters. Who are we talking about? Well, here's a little hint.
Do you want to build a snowman? We like Disney, we're big Disney fans, so we have done a few Disney cosplays so far. And so our inspiration for these cosplay characters are really just, they're fun characters. Yeah. We love the music, we love the choreography.
We thought it was great to cosplay these two characters.
And we thought it's a little bit funny too.
Yeah. For myself, I love the process of making the costume itself. It's really fun. The challenge of figuring out where things go where. And just the whole community of cosplaying, it's really lively, everyone's supportive, and I just love popular culture.
About 2 years ago when quarantine first started, I was riding my electric skateboard around North Hollywood, and I started wearing this to cheer people up because there's just nothing funnier than a guy who's a high school experience with 40 just trying to live a midlife crisis he can't afford. The reason why I need to cheer people up is because it's how I deal with my depression. You know, making people laugh. Because people along the way forgot that we're all human. We're all meant to take care of each other. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, brown, purple, or green. If you're a mandalorian, if anything, we're meant to help each other. And I just like to just spread the cheer around and make people laugh. I actually think I saw Ella over at the Artist Alley.
Artist Alley was bustling with industry professionals applying their craft. And it was these skilled designers, colorists, and cartoonists who really drew our attention.
Hi, I'm Jason Keith, and I'm a Marvel colorist. I get the black and white art, and my job is to finish it up. So I try to bring color, light, mood, emotion, and depth and storytelling to the process. The Red Hulk in 2008 was the biggest or the highest selling comic of that month. So for me, I sign about 10 of these comics at a show per day. It's amazing to be back out. And for me, as somebody who works at home before the pandemic, for one, now everybody knows when I said I was suffering from mental health, like the idea of not going out and seeing people is ridiculous, right? I was depressed. So for me, conventions is the most rewarding side of doing comics because I get to meet the fans. I get to see them bring me the books that they love. And then that makes me feel fulfilled.
Started working for Jim Henson. I auditioned for Jim back in 1980. Jim's, of course, The Muppet Show was the most popular show on television. And Jim had this idea. He loved comic strips in the newspaper. And he wanted to have a comic strip of The Muppet Show. He had looked for 2 years, I guess starting in '78, to find the right combination of writing and art and everything. And it wound up being me. My brother and I wrote and drew the Muppets over all of these 40 some odd years or whatever. Worked on the Muppets and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Disney, Tom and Jerry, Pink Panther, Looney Tunes, and 23 years of Nancy and Sluggo in the newspaper as well. I love to meet the fans. Now, being able to come out and do the Comic-Cons and meet the folks that have grown up with my characters, it's awesome to me. I mean, I get so excited about it.
Clearly, fan interaction was paramount for artists and creators, and who can blame them? Especially with the level of dedication we saw with attendees that brought their favorite fictional character to life.
I've been a comic book fan for quite a long time, ever since I was very young, and I actually had an allowance to go to the corner store to actually pick up a comic book. My very first comic book was Robin #3, and been reading it ever since. Both sci-fi, fantasy, superheroes, a whole assortment of different things you really expect here.
I started off like simple cosplay was a good icebreaker to meet people, but then I eventually just kind of went too deep and and committed too much time and stuff that I wanted to do.
this is actually the first outfit I've made, and I wanted to bring to life the outfit that people would freak out over and be like, oh, this is so cool. So when they do that, I'm like, yeah, I did a good job. If you keep an open mind and you want to experience things going around, you'll have a really great time.
Thing is, if you like nerdy stuff, going to conventions is a good way to meet people who love the thing as much as you do. And they'll be just as passionate, and then your conversation will just flow. So it's great to meet a lot of people here.
There's so many people here. Makes it a little bit uncomfortable, but you know, I think hopefully now we're at a point where it's okay and acceptable.
Everybody is excited, and especially after the couple years that we've had, not a lot gets us excited anymore. So it's just fun, and it's nice to see everyone's excited faces and how much they enjoy the character that you're playing. Don't be scared. Everybody accepts you. If you feel like your costume is not cool enough or whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you come with the idea that you want to present yourself, everything is accepted here.
Yeah, no judgment.
Yeah.
No judgment here. Yes.
I'm a big fan of Star Wars ever since I was little, ever since seeing Revenge of the Sith. You know, it's just been a big fascination in my life, and it's always just been like a big consistent thing. So after scraping some money from like a while ago and just started building it together, I decided to go ahead and go as my clone trooper outfit. There are people that I can relate to, you know, whether if they're not like wearing a Star Wars cosplay or not. I know that, hey, you know, if they see me and say, hey, that's a clone trooper and stuff, you know, I feel like, hey, my fellow people here, you know, I can really relate to them, and it just makes me really happy to see that, you know, there are people who I can relate to. The whole pandemic, all the hardships and everything, you know, I think really we need more events like this, you know, just to bring people back together, to remind them what was the normal, because I know that, you know, the normal's not going to come back, of course. This is something we're going to have to live with, but we need more conventions like this just to bring people together and just, you know, bring just a general atmosphere of just like, hey, you know, I know things are hard, but, you know, we're all in this together. I was at the food court getting something to eat.
Knowing Ella, she'd probably get dessert first, so we looked for her at Asian Boba Girl. But this vendor wasn't selling boba to eat, but to smell?
So Asian Boba Girl, we're basically working to increase Asian representation in the candle industry. Like we see like vanilla cupcake and sugar cookie candles like everywhere, like Bath and Body Works, Target, but we never see anything represented like with Asian flavors, like stuff that I grew up with, I never really see in a candle form. So what we're trying to do is basically create those scents, develop it, and make them into candles. Taro is one of the biggest candle hit. Like it just does really well. I think there isn't really a candle like it. So people, when they smell it, they probably expect something more like caramelly or milky, but it actually smells very spot on. And the second candle that really gets everyone's attention is the Japanese soda. It actually smells carbonated, which is kind of crazy because I've never smelled a candle that smells like bubbly and carbonated, and that's what we have. Originally, we wanted to create a candle that's like curb your like, boba cravings. Instead, it's actually made people crave boba even more, which is crazy, but like we've been wanting boba like all day after this event. Like we just wanted to go to a boba shop. We were kind of nervous because we weren't sure if the audience would be right for this, just because everyone's into comics, anime, and we're just here doing candles. But it kind of worked out. Everyone so far knows what boba is, which is great. So it's awesome.
What's also awesome is that we finally found our missing crew member. Turns out Ella hadn't been gallivanting around the convention, but had been taking care of the equipment the entire time. Of course, the rest of us felt ashamed for doubting her. Until we took a look at what was on the camera. Looks like Ella had fun and met some new friends, which, after all, is part of the Comic-Con experience. If there's a point of interest or an interesting person in your town, don't be surprised if our crew rolls up to see for ourselves just what the buzz is all about. For City Limits, I'm Alan Basoyahe. Visit us on eaglenewslive.com and follow us on Eagle News Live YouTube, Eagle News Live Facebook, and on Twitter at Eagle News Live.